Personalities on the biggest stories. We get you started right here with First Things First. Catch it all Monday through Friday only on FS1.
Be careful on Friday. Sometimes might be missing.
It's okay. You're going to be here this Friday, so don't worry about it.
Well done, Jenna Wolf.
He's allowed to
Fire.
miss the show, Nick.
Fire.
It's okay.
Exactly right.
Back here with Vince Goodwill. Sixers, Raptors, Game 4. Toronto looking to even up the series. It's easy when Kawhi Leonard plays on your team. It is also easy when Joel Embiid is sick again. Second time this series he played but did not contribute much. Kawhi, on the other hand, dropped 39. He's averaging 38 this series. Raptors get the 101-96 win to take back home court advantage. Penny, how impressive was Kawhi on Sunday?
I think his impressiveness was almost based off of how non-impressive his teammates were. Like, can you name another Toronto Raptor that made an impact beyond small things on the fringes? I think Kawhi has reached the point of his career where, let's say he doesn't get any better, right? But he probably is the second or third best player in basketball right now. And that's being conservative, where you have to be on high alert. Every second he has the ball, there is no wasted motion. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time dribbling around the floor. He gets to where he has to get to in one or two dribbles. And even in that last three on Embiid breathed.
Yes.
He hesitated for half a second, and next thing you know, Kawhi drilled a three in his eye. You can't even breathe on this guy. Remember last year where they said the Spurs, he might be a product of the Spurs system. Let him go. Let's see what happens when he goes somewhere else.
Yes.
And then you see that this guy exists far beyond the Spurs system. Like if I'm the Clippers or the Knicks or the Lakers, I am at his door like the Lakers were at LeBron's door June 30th at 11:59. You cannot afford to not take an opportunity to get this guy. He's that good.
You're absolutely right that he is looking like one of the top three players in the league. And at the moment this postseason, he is playing like the best guy. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean 7 games in a postseason does not, or 9 games, I guess now for Kawhi, because this series went 5 previous round, does not a career make. But this postseason, no one's been better. His efficiency, so many things. Our pal Kendrick Perkins compared his game to Michael Jordan as far as the shots he gets, where he gets them, the way he takes the mid-range shots, the way he locks in defensively. And I understand that comparison. But the box score looks like LeBron. The efficiency, the plus-minus when he's on the court, off the court. When you look at the roster and you're like, there's no one else on the team that had a great game, and yet you did everything. And for Kawhi, he had 5 assists last night or yesterday. That for him is a big number.
Yes,
That's the one part of his game that has never been big on, is the playmaking, is the distributing. If he can average 5 assists, that adds a totally new element. But because he is so willing to take those usually inefficient mid-range shots, but he makes them at such an efficient clip, there's nowhere to steer him towards. Watch how Harden is guarded. One of the reasons Harden efficiency goes on, it takes a nosedive in the playoffs, is teams are steering him to places he won't shoot. They're steering him to the mid-range where he just refuses to take those shots, smart or otherwise, he won't do it. Kawhi is efficient from every quadrant of the court. That's how he's playing. And that doesn't even mention what he's doing defensively, which isn't, oh, wow, he's a really good defender. It's what it's been for the last few years. He is in the discussion for the best defender in the world, and that is so hard when you're not a rim protector. We know he's the best perimeter defender, but his perimeter defense might be so impactful, he might be a more impactful defender than Gobert or Draymond or the rim protectors out there. To me, none of the stuff about Kawhi right now is hyperbolic. He is playing better than anyone in the league right now.
Okay, but it certainly doesn't hurt that Joel Embiid isn't, right? Joel Embiid once again was sick. Joel Embiid has breaking the team down. This other team can't seem to, the rest of the Sixers can't find a way to score or take control of the game when Joel Embiid isn't 100%. What is going on with this Philadelphia team, and should they be concerned about Joel Embiid?
You have to be concerned about Joel Embiid because everything as far as their championship aspirations are around him being very, very good. But back to the Kawhi thing a little bit. I think that the opposition even makes us give Kawhi more credit because they got a lot of guys that really should match up with Kawhi as far as size. Tobias, and we know him and Jimmy Butler. It's a personal thing. Like Jimmy Butler should be able to do something with Kawhi besides Ben Simmons. And these guys, besides not being able to slow down Kawhi, they haven't been dependable enough in themselves to be able to help Philadelphia with Joel Embiid being out or injured or having gas or whatever he's going to have, because I just think that if you're on Philadelphia, you need to understand Joel Embiid's a special player, but there are going to be some times he's not going to be healthy, a lot like Shaq, and will other players step up? And that's been the big problem for me with the 76ers.
Well, you said it. Joel Embiid's health makes him not being a dependable player right now. And the fact that you had Game 3 on Friday and you didn't have that extra day of rest, whatever it was with the flu, his knees are the bigger problem to me. And when you're playing every other day, as opposed to getting the 72 hours of rest, that's where you're going to see the attrition and the weight with Embiid, the weight that he gained toward the end of the season. It has caught up to him where he cannot be as effective on quote-unquote back-to-back type of situations. I think Jimmy Butler's played as well as he could possibly play in this series. But when Embiid and Simmons don't bring it, and Simmons is basically a complete liability, you have a problem.
Right. And I think that sometimes it's hard to be consistent with Jimmy Butler. Like, do I take over the offense? Because we know we're going through Joel Embiid, but what offensive player is going to be there? Given the restraint, and given that now they're starting to put the ball in Jimmy Butler's hand more. Yes, Jimmy Butler has been the best 76er.
Well, and when you talk about not the extra day of rest, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. They don't have an extra day of rest unless this thing gets to 7. So this is going to be the schedule for him moving forward. Off today, play tomorrow, off the next day, play Thursday. The other thing that's biting the Sixers here, listen, Ben Simmons has been bad this entire series. The only game you could even say was maybe a good game for him offensively was Game 1, and they got blown out in Game 1. So that it wasn't an impactful game for them. But the lack of a bench, you can't play Boban against the Raptors because they'll just pick and roll him off the court. That's why Boban played 0.4 seconds in yesterday's game, came into guard inbounds, and that's it. Greg Monroe was found money, similar to what we were talking about Iman Shumpert. He was found money early in this series. Yesterday, Greg Monroe played 10 minutes. They were outscored by 17 points in those 10 minutes. Like, that is, those 10 minutes.
That's the game, the Greg Monroe you know.
That's the Greg Monroe that I knew when the Celtics picked him up last year. Our friend Chris Banks, like, Greg Monroe's going to be a factor. No, yeah, for the other team, scored. And so right now, Philly, James Ennis was nice early in the series. He's their most reliable bench guy. He should be a 9th man. Mike Scott's clearly not healthy. No. So now if you have a game where Tobias is off, and he's been off all series, and where Embiid is not healthy and fully functional, they were lucky to have it be a 1-point game with a minute left before Kawhi ripped their hearts out. Like, it's tough for Philly because they could have stolen this game yesterday.
Oh, my goodness. And stole the series then.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I say to be what's worse, this Toronto team look like the same old Toronto team that we've been watching the past 3 years, except they have Kawhi Leonard. The coach, Nick Nurse, I don't think has comported himself like a championship type of coach. I don't know if he's better than Dwayne Casey. I don't think he's been an upgrade in a 7-game situation. Maybe over 82 games, but on the playoffs, I don't think he's comported himself that way. It looks like the same old Raptors, except they have Kawhi Leonard, who's playing like the best player in basketball.
The same old Raptors, except for the first time since they've been the Raptors in one of these series, they've got the best player on the court. The other team doesn't. The other team don't have Iverson. The other team don't have LeBron. The other team doesn't have the best guy on the court. They've got the best guy on the court, and that's the only reason it's even tied at 2 apiece.
All right, let's take a break. Vinny, we'll see you a little bit later on the show. Coming up, are the Golden State Warriors in trouble if Steph Curry continues to struggle the way he has? Next on First Things First.
Draymond.